Plans are coming together to make improvements to Marston's Mills. Changes could soon be made to Sampson's Island. Plus, we have details about where your kids can find goodies this Halloween. These stories on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, October 29th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. Plans are coming together for improvements in the center of Marston's Mills. Director of Growth Management Joanne Miller-Buntich tells us we are at the 25% stage. Design plans will be available for view at the Burgess House in Marston's Mills next Tuesday, November 4th. The consultant will make a presentation about the project to the public. Plans will be on display at 6:30 with the presentation beginning at 7. In a nearly 4.5-hour meeting, the Conservation Commission voted to approve a project to dredge a portion of Sampson's Island and use the spoils to nourish Dead Neck Beach in Cotuit. John Ramsey, the architect working on the project, talked about the specifics of the plan to start off the discussion.
As we talked about, it's 133,600 cubic yards is the proposed amount. And basically, the anticipation is that the project will be done in the winter of 2015, 2016. So we're looking at 5 years past the design life of the previous nourishment project. So just to bring, at that point, understanding that over the last 5 years, that beach has been eroding at a little bit over 14,000 cubic yards per year. And that's from measurements that we've been surveying this beach over the, since 2000. It's understood that just to bring that beach back to the baseline, back to the pre-nourishment baseline, we are going to require about half the material, 72,000 cubic yards, just to bring it back to the baseline, and then we're building from that. As you've seen on the plans, we have another 11,000 plus yards that we're using for habitat enhancement. That's those spoil piles to make turn habitat towards the western end, as well as the ribbon of beach on the south shore, that very thin veneer to cover over the beach grass and enhance the habitat there. And the remaining material, it's about 50,000 yards. 30,000 of that will be beach nourishment. 20,000 of it will be the dune enhancement on the top. And basically what we're looking at, that material is going to provide, that 30,000 is going to basically provide about 2 to 3 years, or we're anticipating about 3 years of material in front of the baseline nourishment.
Ramsey says while they can't predict the exact outcome of the beach nourishment plan, they can use history to get an idea.
This is obviously you've seen this many times. One of the questions that came up last time is what is the beach going to look like? We don't know exactly what the beach is going to look like, but this is 1967. This is where the tip of the beach is going to look after we excavate the material and dredge the material. Obviously, there's going to be material here that isn't excavated, and some of that will migrate rapidly back here. But for the most part, this may give you at least an idea initially of what we anticipate the extent of the beach looking like at the end of the project.
Attorney Barry Fogel encouraged the Conservation Commission to approve the plan and talked about the primary objectives.
As you know, the primary objective is the stabilization of Dead Neck. And to Mr. Morin's question, all of Dead Neck and Sampson's Island is a barrier beach. And so the functions of storm damage prevention, flood control where appropriate and where it applies, and the habitat values apply across the entire island. I just wanted to roll back to what you asked on that. So the stabilization of Dead Neck is an important objective in order to provide the functions of that portion of the barrier beach. John Ramsey has talked before that really there isn't a flood control. When there's a big storm that comes in from the south in this direction, it overwashes much of the island. So it's really storm damage prevention from waves during medium and smaller storms. And so in order to secure that portion of Dead Neck and enable it to provide the function of storm damage prevention, the objective is to continue again with beach nourishment. The obvious other side of the coin of the project objective is the enhancement and restoration of the rare species habitat. Mass Audubon and 3 Bays have ownership of this island primarily through the deeds for a bird sanctuary and to create the habitat for the plovers and the terns. And so enhancing the habitat for rare species for the birds is hand in hand with restoring Dead Neck as a functioning beach, barrier beach portion of Dead Neck and Sampson's Island. Now, it is an additional project objective, but at a second level, to reestablish the navigation channel and the entrance to Cotuit Bay. That's not the goal of the project. It is an important objective, though, that is achieved by using the accreted spit, or a portion of the accreted spit at Sampson Island, as the source in this cycle of the material for the nourishment.
A public hearing was held and many residents spoke out against the beach nourishment plan, including Centerville resident Susan Bartlett.
Not stop thinking about the comments made at the October 14th meeting by a member of this commission saying that the amount of dredging at the Cotuit entrance should be independent from the amount of sand needed at the eastern end of Dead Neck. Conveyor backpassing of material from Sampson's Island to Dead Neck is not necessarily so nice. Considering that, with the town already interested in dredging the outer Cotuit Channel and maybe possibly the Osterville outer channel coming in, perhaps we could reduce the dredging of Sampson's Island to 100 or 150 feet, doubling the width of the channel now, and trying to involve the town in the dredging of further sand for Dead Neck.
Bartling also suggested the town request an independent evaluation of the proposal. Attorney Fogel attempted to allay resident concerns.
There is going to be a restored tip of the Sampson's Island spit, and so there will still be beachfront on that side, and of course there's still going to be beach on the inner side and on the outer side. But it seemed that some people were sort of suggesting that we're losing the front of that. But that brings me to another point that's been discussed in terms of the repeating, or where would the source of material come from. And I do think that, and Lindsay and I have talked about this, that if in the town's cycle of channel dredging, there could be annual, it would be relatively easy to do an annual clearing of that channel of the approximately 13,000 cubic yards that the documentation shows makes its way to the end of Sampson's Island each year. And so this shoreline that would be established at the end of these 3 years is potentially maintained through an annual dredging of 13,000 cubic yards.
After much discussion, the Conservation Commission voted unanimously to approve the project. The plan will now go before Town Council for final approval. Main Street in Hyannis will be full of trick-or-treaters this Thursday night. The annual Safe Trick-or-Treat kicks off at 4 and wraps up by 6. Kids are encouraged to wear their costumes. The Hyannis Library is raising money with a raffle. The library will be raffling off a beautiful painting by Hyannis resident Jolene Deal on December 6th. You can purchase raffle tickets until then for just $5 a piece. The painting is valued at $150. Tonight, the Mid-Cape Cultural Council will meet at 6:30 in the Growth Management Conference Room. Tomorrow evening, the Town Manager Review Committee will meet in the Selectmen's Conference Room. That's taking place at 5:30. And of course, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we'll find out more about renovations taking place at Veterans Beach Park. We'll learn about the Centerville Civic Association, and we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.